Hi everyone, this video will serve as a short introduction to week 2 of the course. So let's first go up here to our learning module section and then page down to module 1. You'll see immediately some of the work that you've been working on in the first week of class, including our discussion forum here. I want to compliment many of you for doing a very good job on our first discussion forum assignment. You posted very briefly and in a very interesting way some good details about yourselves, so thank you for doing that and keep up the good work. If you're watching this video during the first week of class still, up until Sunday, January the 31st, you can continue to participate in our discussion forum, icebreaker discussion, and I hope that you will, and keep speaking to and learning about your fellow students. If someone has asked you a question, do make sure that you respond to them. Be polite and address any question that they might have before Sunday. I hope that you had some fun meeting everybody. We've learned a lot about various different students in the class, a very diverse selection of students here, everything from hockey players to people interested in law enforcement, horse owners, people who are fans of various television shows, particularly the show Dexter seem to come up a lot. We have a lot of business majors, business management majors, accounting majors, good diverse selection of students, and I really look forward to working with everybody over the course of the semester and in the next few weeks. So that's our first discussion forum. We also had the short diagnostic exam, this written exam. Now, both of the assignments in week 1 are ungraded. This is to give you a chance to get comfortable with the system and get used to it before you begin graded assignments. Now, in week 2, assignments start becoming graded. In fact, you have 3 major assignments here that will be graded: the quiz, your discussion forum, and writing assignment number 1. All 3 of these assignments will receive a grade. So you want to pay particular attention to the deadlines on your syllabus or that are also listed below each of these assignments. Make sure that you do get them in on time and that you do your best job on them so that you score as highly as possible with these various assignments. For week 2, the very first thing you want to do, if you've not begun to do this already, is read chapter 1. And read chapter 1 very carefully. It's a particularly important chapter. It'll introduce you to a lot of the key concepts, issues, and ideas that we'll be returning to throughout the course. Now, your author in this chapter, our author Philip C. Cullen, stresses the idea of 4 keys of effective business writing. Those 4 keys are audience, purpose, message, and style and tone. He combines style and tone as one key in this case. But audience, purpose, message, style, and tone. Ideas and concepts that you want to think about before you actually sit down even and begin to really start writing, before you start to type or before you put pen to paper. You want to think through who you're writing to, why you're writing to somebody, how you're going to go about writing to that person in the most effective and persuasive manner. And he gives you some good ideas about how you can go about doing that. What we're going to focus on in this first week of class is particularly this idea of audience and target audience, the idea of thinking through who it is you're writing to and how best to persuade them, to convince them of something, or to get them to maybe do what you want them to do. A lot of business writing is about the idea of persuasion, whether you're writing just a memo to your fellow employees or whether you're writing a resume. Most business writing has at its heart the idea of persuasion. You're trying to persuade somebody to do something, to support a project that you have, to, in the case of a resume, to hire you, to accomplish a task that you want people to accomplish. In a few weeks, we'll talk about sales letters, and in that case, audience is particularly important because you're trying to convince people to buy a product or service. So you really want to think through both who your audience is and somewhat you want to think through their psychology. How can you best approach them? What's the best tactics and what's the best tone to take in reaching that audience? So during the second week, we're going to consider that idea, this issue of audience, who they are, and how best to start thinking about ways to reach those audiences. So once you've read chapter 1 and read it very carefully, you're then ready to take our first quiz. Now, the quiz is timed. It's a very short quiz, but you only have 5 minutes to take it, so definitely be aware of that time limit as you begin that quiz. You make sure and read the chapter really carefully before you begin. Don't try and be looking these answers up while you're taking the quiz, or you'll find that your time runs out much quicker than you anticipate, and you won't do very well on this particular assignment. So make sure you've read the chapter carefully. The questions on this quiz are presented in a way that can be answered very quickly if you're familiar with the material. They're short questions, they're true-false questions, they're fill-in-the-blank questions, they're multiple-choice questions. Since it's a 5-minute exam, you have 5 questions, so you really want to, think about the idea that you have just 1 minute for each of those questions and time yourself accordingly. When you have read the instructions for the exam carefully, you can come down here to the bottom of the screen and you'll see a place where you can click on to begin the quiz. Here you don't see it on this screen that you're looking at here because the student has already completed the quiz in this case. But ordinarily, if you hadn't taken the quiz already, you would see a little place you can click on to start the quiz. Once the quiz begins, you'll see up here at the top right-hand side of the screen your timer, which will show you how much time you have left before the 5 minutes has expired. Take this quiz by Wednesday, February the 3rd, and do make sure that by midnight of Wednesday, February 3rd, you've completed that quiz so you get full credit for it. Another assignment for this week that must be completed by Wednesday, February the 3rd is you should watch the PowerPoint unit lecture. This is a visual lecture done in PowerPoint form. It also goes over key important concepts that we're dealing with during this week. You want to make sure and watch this. Really, I would advise watching this as soon as possible. You actually don't have to wait until after you've completed the quiz to start watching this PowerPoint presentation. You can watch this right after you read Chapter 1 if you'd like to. You can watch this either before or after you take that quiz, but just make sure that you've watched PowerPoint Unit 1 by Wednesday, February the 3rd. Okay. You'll also want to make sure and pay attention to, on the discussion forum, the deadlines there. Because as with this week, you'll find that Wednesday of each week, there's usually a deadline on the discussion forum for your first post. So make sure that you have posted your first post on that discussion forum also by Wednesday of week 2. Now, I'm going to have another video down here a little bit lower on the screen, which will talk in more detail about the target audience assignment and how that relates to discussion forum number 2. And I'll also talk briefly about writing assignment number 1. So as soon as you finish this video, you may want to go on and go down there and watch the second video down there, and it'll fill you in on the rest of the assignments for this week. All right? So I'll see you in the next video.